So I have a couple of bumpers here for a newer Honda, 2000 to 2024, I'm not sure, 22, 19, not sure. Oh, you can buy these painted, pre-painted, but I don't know what the difference in cost is, but we're gonna paint them. These two bumpers came in one box, which is kind of funny because the box wasn't much bigger than this front bumper. This back bumper was folded up and tucked inside of this bumper, which is, I don't know, it worked. And I was really concerned about it when I pulled it out, like, oh man, what's that gonna look like? So I had set this up for over a day just to kind of open it up, and it's staying open pretty good. But it left a little funky spot right here where it was kind of pooched up from being shipped and freighted in that box together. So I actually just used a heat gun and I applied a little heat to the backs of these areas, and being careful not to get it too hot, but enough to reform that plastic, reshape it. So I got these straightened out. The next thing we're going to do is wash these things down. They've been handled and shipped, and I don't know how clean they were to start with, because they must use some sort of a release agent for getting these plastics out of their molds. So we're not going to take any chances. We're going to clean both sides. I'm going to wash it down and get them clean, and then we're going to rescuff these. These came pre-primed, but I don't trust that primer, and most people I talk to don't either. So we're going to wash it really good. We're going to scuff this with a Scotch-Brite pad and wash it again, and I will apply some sealer over the top of all this and tack it with tack cloth and then paint it. I'm going to set them up on these two tables with stands just to kind of get them up where I can paint all the way around at one try, all at one time, both of them. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do, and I'm just going to show you the way I do it. I'm going to show you some of the things I use to prep and paint. One of the big things anybody will tell you is these bumpers, they're plastic, so you really don't know how clean they are, and you don't want to take any chances. So I'm going to use some good cleaner, and I'm going to clean, and anybody you talk to is going to say clean, clean, clean. So I'm going to wash probably twice, try to get them super clean inside and out. I am going to use a microfiber, I'm going to use a scuff pad. No, I'm not going to use sandpaper. I think you could, but you'd want to use like 1000 grit. So I'm going to use these. I think you could get away with using the purple or the maroon pads, but I'm going to use gray. And I'm going to sand every square inch, every crack and cranny with this. Even the smallest crease in these bumpers will be a spot that paint won't adhere. So you want to get them scratched up with this. Nothing more abrasive. So if you're wondering how to tell the difference between primered or non-primered surface, a wet rag across a non-primered surface, it's going to have this beaded water look. And you come over to a panel that has primer on it, it'll just stay wet. All right, so we're going to use this 3M Scotch-Brite gray pad. I'm going to use soapy water still. So any place I want paint to stick, we're going to scuff these holes for these clips. I believe this is where the trunk is, so we want it to look decent there. We want paint to stick back underneath the panels. You definitely want your paint sticking in beyond where your lights may be, or like these areas where a light housing is. You don't want paint chipping off around that later, so be sure and get your sanding back beyond where you're applying paint, especially if you gotta spend all the money to paint it. You don't want it falling off in like a year's time, and it very well could. Come on, get up there. Oh, okay, I'll work with you. And I like to, when I do these things, work in quadrants, I guess. I did the whole top, this whole side, then I'm going to do this whole back piece, and then I'll jump to the other side. That way I don't miss it. You'll kind of know when you dry it all off, or when it dries, what you missed. There's nothing wrong with going over it again. Just remember, if you go through this sealer or this primer, that you might have to reprime it. I recommend putting a sealer on them anyways, which is a primer based product, just to promote adhesion and for your finish to look even in color and finish. So as I was sanding these, I noticed there's some spots that need denibbed. There's some junk that was in that primer, a few spots here and there. You kind of see the reflection. And then there's some orange peel along here. I don't know if you can see that. You can see it right there. See it right there, right in here. So I'm going to go ahead and get a block, it's 1000 grit, and just try to denib that. That'll show up on my paint job, and I don't want that. So they all look pretty good. At this point, after washing, they need to dry really good. So my little tummy was eating on my big tummy, which tells me it's time to get something to eat. And when I get back, I'll double check these all again, make sure with fresh eyes that I didn't miss anything. Then I'll wipe it down with some degreaser. So anyhow, be back after lunch. I would recommend, though, just to play it safe, using a water-based wax and grease remover. I'm just going to lightly wipe it down. No reason to push hard on here. All right, I'm gonna take a little break for about 15 minutes and then I'll put clear on. Well, got these taken care of. Now I can get them out of the shop and get back to sanding on the Blazer, and I'm looking forward to that. Not really. I hate sanding. Anyways, I appreciate you following along and watching. Thank you so much, and we'll catch up with you guys later. Bye.